Once upon a time, in the deepest part of the Whispering Woods, there lived a very curious rabbit named Fluffy. He loved to explore and ask questions about everything he saw. One day, as he hopped along, he came across an old tree with twisted branches and leaves rustling in the evening breeze. "Hello," said Fluffy Rabbit politely. "I'm new here. Do you have any stories to share?" The talkative tree smiled and replied, "Of course, my little friend. I've seen a lot of things in these woods over the years." And so began their friendship, with the tree sharing tales of adventure and Fluffy asking questions about everything he saw or heard. One day, Fluffy found himself lost in the woods. He was scared and didn't know what to do. Remembering his friend, the talkative tree, he ran over to him and cried out for help. The tree listened kindly and asked, "What seems to be the problem, my dear Fluffy?" Fluffy sobbed, "I'm lost. I don't know how to get back home." The wise old tree smiled and said, "Why don't you try asking someone else for directions? You never know who might be able to help." Fluffy nodded gratefully and ran off to find another friend in the woods. Sure enough, with the tree's advice, he found his way back home safe and sound. From that day on, Fluffy Rabbit knew that his friend, the talkative tree, was always there to listen and offer wise words of advice when he needed them most. And so, as the sun set over the Whispering Woods, Fluffy Rabbit snuggled into his cozy bed and thought about all the wonderful memories he shared with his best friend. And as he drifted off to sleep, he whispered softly, "Good night, talkative tree. Thank you for being my friend." One day, Fluffy Rabbit discovered a new path in the woods that he had never seen before. He decided to explore it, curious about where it might lead him. As he hopped along, he noticed that the trees became taller and thicker, and the underbrush grew more dense. Suddenly, he heard a rustling sound nearby. Fluffy stopped in his tracks and listened carefully. He wasn't sure what was making the noise, but it sounded like someone or something was nearby. With a deep breath, he gathered his courage and ventured forward, ready to face whatever might be waiting for him. To his surprise, he found himself face to face with a large bear. The bear looked as surprised to see Fluffy as Fluffy was to see him. They both stood there for a moment, staring at each other in silence. Then the bear spoke in a gruff voice. "Little Rabbit, what are you doing out here all alone?" Fluffy stammered. I was exploring this new path I found." He paused, then added, "And I must say, it's quite brave of you to be out here by yourself too." The bear chuckled softly and replied, "Well, I suppose we both have our own ways of being curious." From that day on, Fluffy Rabbit and the big bear became fast friends. They would often meet at the new path and share stories about their adventures in the woods. And whenever Fluffy felt scared or unsure, he knew that he could always count on his brave friend to help him through it. As the days grew shorter and the nights grew colder, Fluffy Rabbit would return to his cozy burrow content after spending another wonderful day with his newfound friends in the Whispering Woods. And every night, before drifting off to sleep, he would whisper softly, "Good night, talkative tree. Good night, big bear. Thank you for being my friends. /IM end." One day, as Fluffy Rabbit was hopping along the new path he discovered, he met a kind old owl perched on a branch. The owl had wise, knowing eyes and a warm smile that made Fluffy feel at ease. They began to chat about the wonders of nature and the many creatures they had encountered in their travels. As they talked, the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the forest floor. Fluffy realized he needed to head back home before it got too dark. The owl bid him farewell, reminding him that true friends are always there for each other no matter where their paths may lead them. From that day on, Fluffy Rabbit looked forward to his evening strolls in the Whispering Woods, eager to see which new friend he would meet next. And every night, as he snuggled into his warm burrow, he whispered a silent thank you to all the wonderful creatures who had made him feel so welcome and loved. One particularly chilly evening, Fluffy found himself shivering in his burrow. He couldn't fall asleep even though he was exhausted from his day of adventures. Just then, he remembered the wise old owl's words about true friends being there for each other. Feeling brave, Fluffy decided to venture out into the woods again, hoping that perhaps one of his new friends could help him warm up. As he hopped along, he called out softly, "Is anyone there? I could really use some help." Soon, he heard rustling leaves and saw a group of squirrels scurrying towards him. They chattered excitedly among themselves before one brave squirrel stepped forward. "We heard you calling, little rabbit," she said. "What can we do to help?" Fluffy smiled gratefully. "I'm really cold and can't seem to sleep," he confessed. The squirrels nodded understandingly. "Well, come with us," they said. "We know just the place." They led Fluffy to a warm, cozy hollow underneath a large tree. There, they had gathered an abundance of nuts and berries to share with him. As he munched on the delicious snacks, the squirrels began to gather twigs and leaves, building a small fire in the center of the hollow. Before long, Fluffy felt his shivers subsiding and a comfortable warmth spreading through his body. The squirrels smiled at him, their whiskers twitching with happiness. "Thank you," Fluffy whispered, feeling grateful for their kindness. "You're all such good friends." And with that, he drifted off to sleep, warm and content in the knowledge that he was truly blessed to have so many wonderful friends in the Whispering Woods.